What's going on, guys? My name is Steve. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to be reacting to Ancient DNA at Newgrange reveals God-Kings of Prehistoric Ireland. I've actually had Newgrange on my list for quite a while now, but it wasn't until the other day when I did a reaction to Stonehenge that I noticed that a lot of people in the comment section were recommending that I check this place out. And so I thought, why don't we go ahead and dive in and learn about Newgrange? I really don't know anything about this place. All I know is that based off of the thumbnail images, it looks to be some sort of a burial site. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the pyramids in a way. Obviously, it doesn't look like a pyramid, but it looks like it has that same purpose, but not really sure. Anyways, guys, it looks really interesting. Looks like a cool place to check out. So when I went and looked for videos that I should react to about Newgrange, I noticed that the majority of the videos about Newgrange were only about 2 to 5 minutes long. And so, I'm sure some of those videos are fine, but I feel like in 2 to 5 minutes, you probably can't learn enough about this place to really do the place justice. And so I felt like it needed a little bit of a longer video for this. And so there were only a handful that were longer than that. And looking at those few choices, I came across this video and the title just struck me. This title seems so interesting, Ancient DNA revealing God-Kings of Prehistoric Ireland. And so I feel like this video may go into a little bit more detail about what the purpose of this place was. And it was maybe a burial chamber for some quote-unquote God-Kings. I'm not really sure. That's just kind of the impression I'm getting based off the title. But either ways, guys, don't really know what to expect. I'm going into this video completely unaware of what this place is and what to expect, but I know that this place is very old. And so please let me know in the comment section, guys, after this video is done, did this video do Newgrange justice? Is there other videos that maybe I should check out about this place? Not really sure. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and dive in and check out Ancient DNA at Newgrange reveals God-Kings of Prehistoric Ireland.
Newgrange.
Wow, man.
It's one of the most iconic sites in all of Ireland. At more than 5,000 years old, this massive funerary and astronomical complex, predating the pyramids of Egypt,
really?
Is one of the oldest of its kind found anywhere in the world.
That is so cool, dude.
Like Stonehenge across the sea, Maze Howe up in Orkney, and countless other stone circles, megaliths and cairns that pinprick the landscape of Northern Europe. The central building here at Newgrange was precisely located with mathematical precision in mind, in order to line up with the summer solstice.
How did they do that, like so long ago?
Forming a focal point for celebrations carried out here. It wasn't just a sacred place to its builders either, going on to remain a fixture on the landscape for thousands upon thousands of years. As new population groups and elites coming into the region claimed it as their own.
That is beautiful, man. That's so beautiful.
Giving the place new meaning with each succeeding generation. Now, in 2020, astonishing new revelations gained through DNA science are bringing this site and the ancient individuals buried here into the spotlight once more. Revealing evidence of one of the earliest yet discovered hierarchical societies in the world.
Wow,
An elite group wielding immense power. The God-Kings of ancient Ireland.
God-Kings, what a powerful statement. So why is it called Newgrange? Is that the county or like the area in Ireland that this place is located, or is there another reason that it's called Newgrange? Hold on one second, guys. I don't know how close he's going to get to looking at this. I kind of just want to be able to look at this place real quick, kind of a little more close up. Let's see, we're at 202. Let's go back for a second. Okay, so this is like, so it's just a mound on this side and then just this beautiful like stone. I don't know what this is. It's just like It's just a bunch of stone. That's really, really beautiful, guys. And so I'm guessing this is the entrance, obviously. And so I'm curious, was all this around, or is this new after they found it? When did they find this place? And like, I guess maybe you'll go in detail. I'm not really sure, but this looks so cool, guys. And there's a few other sites he talked about here. I'll have to check out some of those. I love learning about these places. Wow, man. That's so cool, dude. Imagine just coming across that. You're just walking along and you just stumble upon this beautiful rock face there, connected to this mound. Where is it at? Where's 202 at? Hold on. All right, here we go. Let's continue.
6,000 years ago, Ireland would be unrecognisable to a visitor from today.
Is it covered in trees, like completely?
Vast old-growth forests of oak, birch and alder coated the island with a thick blanket of green.
Wow.
Within ancient groves, by sacred springs, just a handful of hardy hunter-gatherers made a life here, living from the bounty of the forest.
Man.
Then, by around 4000 BC, outsiders arrived. Travelling on primitive sea-going vessels, bringing astounding new technological innovations with them.
So my question is, who were the original inhabitants of the island of Ireland? Were they the Celts, or did the Celts come along later? Because I know that there are Celts in Wales, there's Celts in Scotland, and then obviously in Ireland, there's also the Celts. So I'm curious, where exactly did the Celts come from, and are those the original God Kings that they're describing here? Man, but you guys have such a beautiful landscape in Ireland. Every time I look at Ireland, I'm just amazed at how beautiful an island it is. It really is. And I can't picture it being just so wooded, because when I picture Ireland today, it seems just like rolling green, pasture land, in a lot of cases. Do you guys still have a lot of forest there? That's something I really haven't ever seen in any pictures of Ireland. I've never really seen forest. I'm sure obviously you guys have forests, but I'm curious, do you still have any of those old growth large forests that he's describing here?
Along with great beasts of burden never before seen on the Emerald Isle. We know these people as the Neolithic farmers, and within just a few generations, the newcomers would revolutionise life on the island. DNA, as well as a wealth of other archaeological evidence, tells us that these newcomers had their roots on the far side of the world, in Anatolia, what is now Turkey. And technically, as soon as they arrive in force, few fragments of the original hunter-gatherers of the region are found.
Really?
Either in material evidence, or increasingly in DNA, absorbed by the inexorable march of progress.
Wow.
By around 3000 BC, the newcomers had firmly established themselves in Ireland. Hacking down forests, planting crops of wheat, barley and millet for the first time, and breeding cattle, sheep, pig on a wide scale. Animals native to the Middle East.
That's just so wild, why they would come up all this way just up here. I mean, what are they? Are they just trying to find new grazing land? Is that what that was?
Just like in Britain and mainland Europe, they also began stamping themselves on the landscape in the form of megalithic architecture. Construction projects involving hundreds or even thousands of people, ranging from colossal tombs and cursus monuments ranging for miles, to smaller circles of stone and individual dolmens.
That's wild, man. It's amazing how they lifted some of these stones.
Academic debates have raged for decades as to the fate of the original Western hunter-gatherer inhabitants of this land. And now, DNA studies are enabling experts an entirely new angle to study these ancient people.
I've had people tell me I need to check out Cheddarman. I never have.
One such study examining the remains of a number of individuals interred within the Great Mound at Newgrange and at other similar sites across Ireland have revealed...
Hold on. 63 feet. So is this the... So my question is, so when you go into Newgrange, is it just this one long passage and then there's like this kind of this cross formation up here? And he said people are interned. Did he say interned? But people were buried inside or entombed inside of Newgrange. I'm guessing that makes sense. But so how many have they found inside Newgrange?
Definitively that megalithic tombs, in Ireland at least, were reserved, by and large, for people who were biologically closely related to one another. Potentially prestigious groups of families who only married amongst themselves. This year, a team of experts unearthed a web of distant familial connections between an individual interred at Newgrange and other individuals from passage tombs across the country.
Really?
Including those at Carramore and Carrickeel in County Sligo.
Wow, man, that's beautiful.
Genetically, Ireland's first farmers, or at least the highest echelons of their society interred in the tombs, were most closely related to peoples of the Atlantic facade in modern-day Spain and Portugal.
Really?
Their ancestors over generations having traversed the Mediterranean from Anatolia to Iberia.
That's wild, man.
Weaving their way up what is now the French coast, before making their way to Ireland by sea, bringing pottery, agriculture and animal husbandry with them, a new age in their wake. The story isn't a simple one of conquest, however. Even though megalithic tombs probably only held high-status individuals. Not all of the DNA comes from descendants of farmers from across the sea. 2 individuals in a wedge tomb at Parknabinia in County Clare, for example, showed high levels of Mesolithic hunter-gatherer ancestry, suggesting some amount of integration and mixing. Perhaps most interesting of all, however, is the approximately 5,000-year-old remains of an adult male from Newgrange. His remains laid out in a richly decorated recess of the inner chamber. This man, almost certainly an elite, high-status individual, was a product of inbreeding. His matrilineal and patrilineal DNA passed down from both parents being extremely similar. Not just cousins, but almost certainly father and daughter, or brother and sister. Such direct evidence of incest is rare in history, almost always being taboo in wider societies. When it does occur, such as in ancient Egypt, various dynasties of rulers in the Americas, and even the kings and queens of medieval Europe, it is strictly within powerful dynasties. To their subjects, the possessors of divine status. God-Kings.
Ah, so basically they interbreed with their families to keep their bloodline, quote unquote, pure from outside people. And so they believe themselves to be god kings, and therefore they cannot mate with the peasants, so to speak. You know, I've heard that with kings and queens within Europe, a lot of them are related to cousins or whatever. I've never really looked into it, but you know, I think it makes a lot of sense, especially, you know, thousands of years ago, they want to keep their bloodlines pure and clean from, you know, outside genetics, so to speak. That is interesting how so many, you know, kings around the world have done that. You know what I mean? So many royal families, so to speak, have done that. It's interesting.
This divine status could be both a blessing and a curse, allowing relatively small kinship groups to maintain vast amounts of power over wide areas.
Very true.
Such as can be seen with the megalithic architecture in Ireland, or the pyramids of Egypt. However, it also separates this group from wider society even further. Often preventing marriages with anyone outside this small elite group. Of course, unbeknownst to these divine dynasties, biologically speaking, inbreeding can cause all manner of defects and mutations, perhaps, sometimes, leading to their downfall. Remarkably, a local myth around the Newgrange area, first recorded in the 11th century AD, tells of an ancient builder king who restarted the daily solar cycle by sleeping with his sister. Perhaps a coincidence, perhaps a half-remembered story from 4,000 years before. The God-King of Newgrange was just one member of an extended familial group, buried at impressive stone monuments across Ireland.
That's wild, man. So...
Only time will tell what more discoveries are unearthed as DNA continues to be studied. You've been watching Archaeology News. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right, guys, that was really interesting, but it didn't really go into detail about Newgrange like I wanted to. It was basically talking about, you know, the ancient DNA that was found at Newgrange and how it revealed that these people were connected to people that were built in were buried in other monolithic structures. That is very interesting. I'm going to have to look at another video about Newgrange to really, you know, get a better look at Newgrange itself. But nonetheless, this was really interesting, and I find it fascinating that, you know, so many of these, I don't know, what would you call them, royal families? I don't really know what you would call these groups of powerful people. You know, we would call, you know, kings and queens and princes and princesses today part of royal families, but what would you call these? I don't know. I don't know what you call these people. Like, do you call them the elite? I don't know what you call these, you know, rich families, you know, from, you know, thousands of years ago, that were, in this case, all over Ireland. But nonetheless, it seems like they intermarried, and they did so to retain power, and possibly because they believed themselves to be gods in a way. And they knew if they married outside of their family, they would taint their bloodline. They would eventually, their land and their property would be dispersed outside of their circle, so to speak. And it really does make a lot of sense. You know, obviously, I don't support, you know, inbreeding within family like that, but for people, for families that have a lot of power and they want to retain that power, if they do intermarry with cousins and whatnot, then it makes it to where the property never leaves the circle. You know what I mean? It, like, when you know, as I married my wife, and then my daughter, she ends up marrying somebody obviously outside of the family, and so forth, so on. The family grows in lineage to the point that in a few generations, it's a completely different group of people in a way. You know what I'm saying? And so over the generations that say you started off with a good bit of land, over the generations, it gets dispersed and dispersed and dispersed to the point that it's no longer held by that original family. And so it's interesting. It's really interesting. But guys, I'm going to check out another video about Newgrange. I think I might go ahead and, I got the time, I think I might go ahead and do it now. And maybe I'll be able to get both these videos up, you know, at the same time or whatever. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Until next time, guys, peace.